Our Across the Aisle segment tonight. Don't ever question the liberal agenda of public schools or you will face the wrath of the educational bureaucracy. That's what one teacher learned after she questioned whether her school would let pro-life students have their own walkout. For that, she was suspended. But good for her, because by simply questioning the school, she exposed their liberal hypocrisy. A march for gun control, great. But a march for life? Just suggesting that will get you punished. With me now, professor and author of Obama's America, Ian Reifowitz. Ian, good to see you.
Good to see you again, Liz.
All right, Ian, let me ask you, this attitude coming from this school, a walkout for gun control, that's cool, that's great. Just the suggestion of a walkout to protest abortion, that gets you suspended. Ian, is that right? Is that fair?
It sounds like it might be unfair. I would want to know a lot more, though. All we know so far from the numerous articles that I read is that the teacher says that she didn't say anything untoward. But what we know from the administration is that she was suspended not for her comments on abortion, but for what she said about what they call the student-led walkout. Two students and one parent complained to the administration. We don't know what they heard or what they said that the teacher said. If the teacher is telling the truth, great. But if either the teacher is telling the truth or the parents and the student aren't telling the truth, somebody's wrong there. So I don't know enough yet to say for sure. If the teacher is telling the truth, then yeah, it does sound like she was treated unfairly. I would agree with that. But we don't know until we hear both sides.
All right, and I agree with you. I think it's unfair. I think it's a horrible double standard. It's hypocritical. It doesn't surprise me because I think we see this from the left all the time. But even let's entertain the idea that the teacher did say something derogatory about the national walkout. She said something that I guess communicated that she disagreed with the motives behind that walkout, and some students and some parents complained. Is that fair grounds for suspension? Is that fair to say, listen, you don't agree with our liberal ideology, the motives behind this march, therefore we're going to send you home for a couple days from your job? Is that fair?
Well, I think again, we're going to assume that the teacher is the one who's telling 100% accurate what happened here. But even if we do that, I think you're taking it a bit too far. First of all, if you look at the way the conservative media is reporting this, once again, we see what it always does. Get conservatives worked up because they're supposedly the victims in society, which is a little surprising to me given that conservatives control the White House, both houses of Congress, Supreme Court. I'm not really sure how they're the victims, but that's where we're at right now. Conservatives need to build up their sense of victimization. If you have a teacher in front of a classroom saying, I think what the students are doing is wrong and I don't like their motives, I don't know that I want teachers really telling, sharing that opinion about students, because you could flip that just as easily in the other direction. You could have a liberal teacher saying that what she thinks that conservative students are doing is wrong. Is that something that we really want teachers pontificating on in the classroom?
That's the thing. I agree with you. I don't think teachers should be. Yeah, we do. I don't think teachers should be taking particular political stances without giving the students, I guess, the education and the facts behind it. In an ideal world, that would be great if teachers simply molded students' minds. But teachers are adults. Teachers are emotional beings just like the rest of us. They do have opinions. Those opinions seep into the classroom. What I'm asking for is teachers of all political stripes to be treated with equal standards here. And it seems like in this case, this teacher was not. You're right. There's the possibility that she was lying. But a lot of news organizations did a lot of background work on this. There's been no indication that she was lying. The school never said that she was lying. They simply said she was suspended because of complaints by the students and by the parents who supported a liberal agenda. My issue here is this double standard, the double standard where she cannot oppose the liberal ideology without being ostracized from society. Is that the type of society that you want to live in?
I don't think that that's what we see here, frankly. I don't know that you have. We don't have a double standard here unless you have evidence of something else going on here that's a real parallel, because we're not just talking about a political debate. We have a teacher here, it sounds like, again, taking her word for it, that she stood up and says, I don't like what you students are doing. I don't want a teacher standing up and saying, I don't like what you students are doing in the classroom when they're taking a position. We have no direct quote from her. We have no direct quote from her that communicates that sentiment at all. We have no direct quote saying that she pointed at students and said, I don't like what you're doing. She merely brought up to students, and you know this, you're a professor, you know that you play sort of intellectual exercises with your students. She said, what if students were to organize a pro-life walkout saying that they opposed abortion, saying that they stood up for the right to life of unborn babies? Would the school, would the media handle that the same? Don't you think that that's a healthy intellectual exercise for students? That's not what she did, according to the administration. I'm going to read you the quote from the article, and this is from the Fox News article. She was suspended due to, quote, complaints from parents and students involving the teacher's communications regarding the student-led remembrance activities. I don't know exactly what those communications are, and neither do you, okay? But maybe she did say some things that were not just a political opinion, but she cast aspersions on their motives. Who knows what?
Nope,
Remember,
we're not
and I know
going to
you
make
said,
up what she said.
please, let me. But we don't know that she didn't say it. You have no idea what she said.
But you don't know that she did, so you can't make it up.
Rally. This wasn't a gun control rally.
Yes,
this
it
was a rally to memorialize the death of 17 students. No, it was not. It was a walkout to memorialize their deaths.
Tell me what the three goals behind this rally. Tell me what the three goals behind the rally was. Tell me what their three goals were.
To memorialize the deaths of these students.
They had three objectives.
That's the goal behind the rally.
They had three objectives. What were the three objectives?
I'm not talking about their objectives. Their goal was to memorialize the students who were killed. This teacher said some things that, according to the administration, was harsh or negative in some ways about what the students were doing.
And see, what she probably did is what I'm about to do right now and tell you the truth about the rally. The rally was not just to memorialize the students. Many of the students who walked out, I'm sure, did it with very pure hearts. They wanted to memorialize these 17. They felt the heartbreak and the grief that we all do over what happened in Parkland. But the organizers of the rallies had three stated objectives. Number one was to ban AR-15s. Number two was to raise the age of gun ownership, long guns, to 21, even though we have no statistical proof that depriving 18, 19, and 20-year-old law-abiding gun owners would have saved any lives. And then their third stated objective is the demilitarization of police. Don't you think, as an educator, whether you're in school or whether we're just having this conversation, don't you think that it is worthwhile to let people know what the actual stated objectives behind a march are instead of just making it seem like it's just a memorial?
We've gotten far off the topic here. This teacher might have been treated unfairly. I'm going to stick with what I said before, but we don't know. We don't know what she did. All we have is her word for it, and we have a statement from the administration that says something different. You want to portray conservatives as victims. That's what you're going to do. But I disagree. Conservatives run this country.
Let me ask you one last question.
They are not victims.
This is a very simple question.
They run the culture as well.
Would you support high school students across the country taking time away from their class to protest the 60 million unborn babies who have died via abortion since 1973? Would you support a national walkout of high school students doing that?
No.
And there you go, double standard. All I need to hear. Ian, thanks for being on the show. I appreciate it.